So hi everyone, welcome to the first online Canando meditation. Let's see, okay, there we go. So welcome to the first online Canando meditation session. We plan to keep our meditation schedule. So we normally start at 7:10 p.m. on Wednesday nights, and we also have meditation at 5:30 a.m. Monday and a longer schedule on Saturday. The other days, such as Mondays and Thursdays, we're still looking into how we're going to arrange that. But I'm really glad to see you joining us. This session is being recorded. However, I can always take out, if you have a question or something and you want me to remove that part, I can always edit the video so it's not live streaming. Some people ask me to record it, so I will just be posting it on the Facebook, but you can always say, if you want anything to be removed before I send it, at least for now. In the chat, there is a link where you can see the loving kindness meditation. So how this is going to work is I'm just going to ring the bell 3 times. I'm going to mute everyone so you won't be disturbed, and we'll be just sitting in silence together for 40 minutes. And then at 7:50, we will chant the loving kindness meditation sutra. So I'll just say the title and you can read it and we can speak it together. And then we'll just have an open, really informal Q&A about kind of the coronavirus and what Canando is doing. I'll kind of give you a summary of our schedule and the precautions that we're taking. And then anyone who has a question can ask a question. So any questions before we start meditation? Okay, so I think probably more people will be joining as we go on. You don't have to stare right at your computer if you're more comfortable turning it, but I'll unmute myself when it's time to ring the bell. Okay, so we'll get started. I'm going to turn on a better light. So now we're going to do the Loving Kindness Meditation Sutra. There's a link here. And let me see if I can also share. No, it's not. Oops. Okay, sorry, I didn't set up screen share yet. So so it would be best if you can click on one of these links, Chance Rituals, and actually, you know what, I can share here so you can kind of see this. So it looks like this. Oh, and it's of course mirrored, so that doesn't work. So I just suggest you pull it up on your screen. I just recently set up this laptop, so I don't have ability to share my screen right now. Yeah. Does everyone have a copy of Loving Kindness Meditation Sutra?
Yes, I have it on my computer.
Okay, good. So we'll get started. Okay. Loving Kindness Meditation Sutra. This is what should be accomplished
by the one who is wise,
the good,
seeks the good, and has obtained peace.
Let one
be strenuous, upright, and sincere,
without
pride,
easily
contented, and joyous.
Let
Let
one
one not be submerged by the things of the world.
Let
one not take upon oneself the burden of riches.
Let one's senses
be controlled.
Let one
be wise, but not puffed up, and let one not desire great possessions, even for one's family.
Let one do
nothing what is mean, or that the wise would reprove.
May all
beings be happy. May they be joyous and live in safety. All living beings, whether weak or strong, in high or middle or low, realms of existence, small or great, visible or invisible, near or far,
born or to
be born, may all beings be happy.
Let
Let no one deceive another, nor despise another being in any state.
Let
none by anger or hatred wish harm to another.
Even as a
mother at the risk of her life watches over, protects her only child.
so with a
With all boundless mind, should one cherish all living things, suffusing love over the entire world, above, below,
and
all around without limit. So let one cultivate an infinite good will toward the whole world.
standing
Standing or walking, sitting, lying down, during all one's working hours. Let one practice the way with gratitude,
not holding
holding to fixed views,
endowed with
insight, freed from sense appetite, one who achieves the way will be freed
from
from the duality of birth and death.
So Zoom is not very good with group chants or anything. It tends to cut in and out between people, and then there's a lag, which makes it really hard to actually say something in sync. So this is our first trial run of doing an online session like this. We'll kind of work out the kinks. Maybe we'll rotate who does the chant and just put everyone else on mute. But it's actually nice to hear each other's voices. It's just hard on Zoom to be in sync. So thank you for joining. First of all, any questions or comments on how it was to be participating remotely on a meditation session, and then I'll give you a status update on kind of what's going on at Canando.
I think it's fine. I think it's even better. I mean, I'm not frequenter. I have not come for a few years, but today I decided to join. I think it's even better, you know, to be in your own home environment.
It was nice. Yeah, it's convenient.
Comfortable. Yes, convenient not to have to drive. And in these conditions of this virus, I think is the best.
Good. Thanks for sharing. And that, sorry, I'm trying to match names. Are you Eleanor?
Yes, I'm Eleonora. Yes, I know we have never met, but you know, I read all your emails. But I don't come. I used to come many years ago. Now I don't come anymore.
Yeah, well, it's nice to reconnect now.
Yes, yes. See, like home, you know, this gives me opportunity to join.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any comments, Peter?
Yeah, if Eleanor is saying that, this is by the way, we met once, Bonnie.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Yeah, if Eleanor is saying that, then maybe it'd be nice once we continue in person to have the option to join virtually.
Yeah, I think it gets tricky when you're trying to do both at the same time, but I actually do see the value of having a remote practice. So the challenges with doing it in person is, are we gonna like bring a camera into the Zendo and kind of have it be a potential distraction? And then, you know, less people might come, but I actually think having some kind of online option on a regular basis is a good idea. Maybe it would be on a different day, or you know, or maybe occasionally it would be a joint thing that we'd broadcast live for a guest speaker. So thanks, that's really good feedback. So it was convenient for you to be.
Yes, yes. See, if it was remote, I would be, I don't know, maybe if not every time, but often participate.
Yeah.
But driving, I live in Redwood City, and now I'm unemployed, but sometimes I work in one location, but it's a chore to go. You know, I'm not regular practitioner.
Yeah.
Like all you, I know you get up in the morning and all of this, but for me, for example, I'm just, you know, like a curious practitioner. So for me, if there was this remote opportunity, I would join, you know, time from time, you know, and listen, especially lectures and all of that. So to me, this would be definitely a possibility to join. And, you know, even if I was working, I could come home and participate.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we also know that sometimes people join and then they have to move away and then they really miss participating. So
Yes.
that's some way for people to participate. Peter, you were going to say something? Or
yeah, thank you. I'm grateful that we're doing this. It was alarming. I've been very alarmed recently and nervous. And it's encouraging that we're continuing to meet and continue to carry forward in the community. But more than anything, I think along with that, this also made me miss all of you a lot.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Same. It's like I feel like I'm with you, and yet you kind of miss being together in person more, but at the same time you feel the presence of people there. So that's nice. I thank you. Any other comments on how it was to try meditation remotely together for the first time? Okay, then I'll go ahead and give you a little status update on how things are at Canando. So I don't know how much most of you know about the coronavirus, but it's the main way that it spreads is by person-to-person contact, you know, like coughing, sneezing, talking, and droplets of water getting from person to person. So the best thing that we can do to slow the spread of the virus is really to not have any large in-person gatherings where people are in close proximity. Having said that, we're still around. So even Umar and Lee were over at Canando earlier, like a couple hours back, disinfecting everything, spraying it with Lysol. I'm sure we're still going to have things where maybe a few people go do gardening or do something where they're really spaced out, really careful. But we don't want any big gatherings where a lot of people are really close together. And it tends to affect older people and people with lung conditions and people with weakened immune systems first. So even though some of us might be young and people use this as like, oh, well, we might not die, or, you know, I'm young, so I'm not going to die, but that really shouldn't be the measure of success. Like, you know, even if you're not going to die, it could do serious damage. And the other thing is that even for very young people, like in their 20s and 30s, if you contract the virus, even if your symptoms are very mild or you don't have any symptoms for a week or two, you still could transmit that to someone else, and that person might be more vulnerable and end up in the hospital or something. So we feel like we want to do our part to keep everyone safe. Safety is our top priority. And, you know, it is expected that numbers will continue to rise because the incubation period is average 5 days and can be up to 2 weeks. So there might be more people that don't realize that they've contracted the virus, but they find out later. So we expect it to go up. We expect things to get worse before they get better, but they will eventually get better. The best thing we can do is kind of just take a lot of precautions, wash our hands frequently, use hand sanitizer when we can't do that, sanitize frequently touched and shared objects like keys, cell phones, doorknobs, and then keep healthy distance between people. I've heard some people say 3 feet. I've heard some people say 6 feet. I heard some people say arms
6.
away. Yeah, so it's better safe than sorry. And of course, just being extra careful with those populations that are the most vulnerable, you know, like your grandparents or anyone with a immune condition or who's already sick. So we want to stay connected. So this is kind of our first experiment in staying connected. We plan to keep this going every Wednesday, as well as have morning Zazen. People asked me to record this session when I sent out the announcement earlier today, and I thought that's kind of funny because you know, like a Zen meditation, it's not like a guided meditation where we take you on a journey and do all this fun stuff. It's really people sitting in the dark in complete silence for 40 minutes. So I'm like, it's not going to be the most exciting video, but sure, we'll give it a shot. So this is being recorded. If you say anything or have a question that you want me to edit out before posting, of course, we'll respect your privacy and do that. But just letting you know that we are recording this so that people who could not attend can listen in and get a sense of what we're doing. In the future, I don't know if we'll actually post the recording for the meditation session, because like I said, it's mostly silence, but definitely like if we host an online Dharma lecture, other discussions, things like that, we will be recording that and posting it so that people can watch at a later time if they want. So right now we have meditation 5:30 every morning, except for Sundays. So we're sticking to the regular schedule. And then we have Wednesday night starting at 7:10, and newcomers can join earlier. And the rest of the schedule is a little bit up in the air. I'm hoping that we can get to having like a full service and everything on Saturday virtually, which will be quite a feat. We would have to get someone to be a doan, someone to be leading the chant at the same time, and someone to be actually performing the bows and the ceremony and offering incense in a way that like we put all the pieces together and everyone can actually participate. So we're not quite there yet, but maybe by this Saturday or next Saturday, we might get there. You know, a lot of our stuff is like community based, like we eat breakfast together on Saturdays. We have tea at Starbucks, usually in the morning. So we don't want to completely disband that, but we're thinking, like, I don't know, in the meantime we could have a like bring your own breakfast or bring your own tea and still like chit chat with each other, but it'll be a little bit different. So we'll have to kind of explore some things and see what works and try it out.
Bonnie, can you hear me?
Hey, what's
Hi.
up?
Listen, I joined late because I had a meeting. I could not try the meditation part, but decided to see what's going on. I have a couple of small comments. So I was, of course, had to create a Zoom account, and it gave me the warning, because I created the free one, that with me more than 3 people, there's a 40-minute limit on the meetings.
Yes.
So I wonder if we could, for these virtual morning sessions, could perhaps, meaning make sure that everything happens in less than 40 minutes.
You don't have to worry about it, I don't think. And I'll tell you why. Because I believe the 40-minute limit only applies to the host. So if, yeah, which is misleading. So
yeah.
if the host can host a meeting longer than 40 minutes and you're just joining and listening in, then
Okay.
with a free account, you're good. I think you just can't organize a meeting that's longer than 40 minutes. So I thought about that. I weighed the pros and cons, and I just paid for a pro account. It's $14.50 a month, and you know, we can have regular online community. I think that is worth it. So
yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that should be something that no one else has to worry
Perfect.
about, because also what I can do is I can set up all of the meetings, even if I can't be there in person on some days, and you can have a setting where anyone can start the meeting without the host being present. So
okay, cool.
the only thing is we'll have to play around with people learning how to take over being the host, like when I'm not there, and being able to mute everyone when necessary and unmute people. But it's all should be workable. So yeah, we could host a session on Zoom.
Well, that was my second comment. We can still have virtual coffee and tea after Zazen, you know, via Zoom.
I think it'll have its challenges, because normally at coffee you talk to like 2 or 3 people. Occasionally it's a group conversation, but you know, we won't be able to have like multiple people talking at once, or we won't be able to hear people. So we'll adjust and figure it out. But I think it's great to see all of your faces. And
Exactly.
So I will share with you some news, Sabanis, addition to what you have been saying that I learned. So there are cases of the virus spreading of some people who were not even in contact with anybody in Santa Clara County specifically. So that means these people have contracted it just from the air, from the community. So this is something to keep in mind, that even if you're not close to anybody, it's still dangerous, you know, to be somewhere, you know, where there are people. It's best to put a mask. Considering this, that's number one, my number one point. Number 2 point is today, I don't know if you have heard Trump speech, but he has banned all travel from Europe to United States starting Friday for 30 days.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Also,
that's going to affect Teresa. Teresa was planning on flying back, but I think
starting Friday for
she comes on Thursday.
Is.
Yeah, so starting Friday, he banned all travel from Europe into United States, and then travel to China from China has been banned for some time. And then also many schools, as you know, probably closed. So today the Archdiocese of San Francisco is closing all Catholic schools. Okay, and then so that second point is the updates from tonight from the news. So many there's the number of viruses is rising. Tom Hanks has been identified that he has the virus. Yeah, Tom Hanks, the actor Tom Hanks.
I love Tom Hanks.
Yes, I like him too. And the third note that is very helpful. Somebody posted on LinkedIn, and this is very, very helpful. That is most important, probably from everything I say. Well, but first note, you know, that you can contact it. It's important. But anyway, because not everybody can be tested.
Right.
And you can contact this from air, you know, like even not to be close. So how you can test yourself very easily, like every day, is if you take a deep breath and hold it for some time. And if you can do it, then it's fine. So I think that's very helpful to do this. I personally am going to do that. Also, in the same, drink a lot of water.
I have not heard that breathing thing. I've gotten all those messages.
A lot of water. And then
If I can note, so I've been following a lot of the medical literature pretty closely, and
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
hear
Eleonora,
me?
you're
Yes, so when you
out,
drink,
in and out a little bit. I think your connection is kind of coming in and out.
oh, okay, so where should I, what should I repeat?
So we got,
Okay, so
we
I
got
will
most of
repeat
it until the
starting
end.
from testing. Okay, so you heard the testing that you can hold the breath and hold it. Okay, then the last part is very important, to drink very frequently and a lot of water, liquids. Because if the virus has got in your respiratory and like a throat, and then you drink of water, it's going to go into the stomach where this acid is going to kill it. Whereas if it's not going to the stomach, then it's going to go to the lungs, and then the lungs, it can create fibrosis, and that's what I guess people
Wow.
so very important that that you drink, like water all the time, if you can. And then this testing, breathing in. So that's my update from today, what I learned.
Thank you very much. I have one quick comment on what she said, and then Peter, you have something to say. So about the face mask, so there's mixed things. So I'm just going to tell you information so you can make your own decision.
Yes.
So the information from the CDC is that there's risks either way. So if you wear a face mask, both you are protected and they're more protected from it going, into your mouth and nose, but it still could get in your eyes, right? But the thing is, they're recommending that if you're sick or you're around people who are potentially sick, that you wear a mask. Now, the tricky thing is we don't know who's sick. You don't even know if you're
Yes.
a carrier. So
Correct.
it could be a good idea to wear a mask. However, there's also risk with the mask, because every time you're putting on a mask, you're touching the mask, and then that mask is touching your face. So this is that whoever's touching a mask is more likely to keep touching their face. And then the more you touch your face, you could also infect yourself. So I would say, like, it's your own discretion either way. You know where you're going, how crowded it's going to be, how likely you are to be sick or carrier. You know all of those factors. Maybe you're going to go spend time with someone who's very high risk. And then, like, my aunt has a lung disease. So if I went to see her, I would keep a big distance and I might wear a mask, but most of the time I probably wouldn't. But then make sure that if you are wearing a mask, you're very conscious about how much you touch your mask and the face, and make sure you wash your hands really good if possible before touching the mask. I mean, they're saying don't even reuse disposable masks, but then you're going to go through masks like crazy. So you can make your own decision, but right now the CDC is only recommending that higher risk people wear masks, but I think as long as you're very careful about how much you touch your face is okay. I really like these masks that are made, I forget if they're by Cambridge or they're not disposable, and that you kind of put them and they go around your ears. Like you don't have to hold it, and it's easier to kind of get on without really touching your face.
Yes, well, I got few in nursing home. My mother's in nursing home, so I go there like on a Sunday. I've been there, so I got few just basic face masks. They go around your ears, so you don't have to even touch it. You can just remove from the ears and
Yeah, I
out.
think the ears are probably the best one.
Yes,
You don't have to
that's the
a lot. I don't know.
yes. And in my case, I have no health insurance. I cannot afford it. I cannot get medical anything. So and I'm unemployed. In my case, I need to protect myself as much as I can. So if I go to, for example, when I go to the store, like get groceries, I'll probably put a mask just in case around the ears. I'm not going to touch. It's a very good point you made, but I put around the ears and it's disposable. Once I get home, I can just remove it and dispose of it.
Great, thank you. And Peter, you were going to talk about the research.
Yeah, just a couple points. So I've been following the medical research fairly closely, and just one thing to add, which is that we're starting to get better information about how the infection can express itself. And there are mild cases where people have an infection, but it doesn't affect any of their respiration. And so it's entirely possible to be carrying the virus and be infectious, being able to transmit on the virus without feeling any effect to your lung capacity or ability to hold a breath. So I think that if you are having difficulty breathing or difficulty holding your breath, that's a pretty serious sign, and you should probably reach out to a medical professional. But I think it's also important to be aware that you can be carrying the virus and passing it on to other people, even without feeling any effects to your lungs.
Right.
Another sign to watch for is actually any kind of fever. So one other thing that you can do is to take your temperature regularly if you're concerned. But especially because the risk of a really serious local pandemic is quite high, and because the most important thing we can do to affect that we have control over is actually avoiding social contact as much as possible. Even if you aren't having any trouble breathing, it's possible that you might be carrying the virus and might have the risk of passing it on.
Interesting.
Yeah. Adding on to what you're saying, Peter, I mean, you can actually be completely asymptomatic, zero symptoms, and be carrying the virus. Now, they say that people who are symptomatic, meaning they're exhibiting fever and lung issues, are the most contagious because that's when it's most active. But yes, you can be a carrier. And what they're also seeing is that a lot of young people, children, can contract it and have extremely mild to no symptoms because of the potential.
Wow, this is really scary.
Yeah, potentially because of their level of development and immunity, that it's more adaptable at that age, or I don't know what. But it's interesting, like some people are lucky where you could actually get exposed to this in a way where, let's say it didn't hit you, but you have a really strong immune system, and your body's able to actually fight it off and develop antibodies, in which case at that point you'd be more or less immune, probably. I mean, we don't know completely, but other people might not fare as well who don't have as strong immune systems, or their bodies are not as able to adapt. So yeah, even if you're completely asymptomatic, you can't be 100% guaranteed. I mean, I'd say you can be considered kind of low risk if no symptoms at all, and you're completely quarantined for like 14 days, then your risk is very low that you're carrying something in concentrations high enough to infect someone else. But realistically, even if we're staying home most of the time, most of us are still going out to get groceries. We're still doing some kind of minimal contact activity. So you can't be sure of how much risk you actually have or what you could be carrying. But yeah, to minimize risk, like minimize social contact, really close physical social contact, and be extra careful around anyone who might be higher risk. So yeah, we did a little bit of homework and reading a lot of articles when we were trying to figure out what to do with Canando, and then it just escalated really fast. I mean, Stanford and Cal shut down all undergraduate classes and exams. A lot of communities are disbanding, gym classes and other things where people are close. So I think it's better to be safe than sorry. I mean, even though it will continue spreading, it makes a big difference how fast it spreads, because the real concern is that if it spreads super rapidly, that we won't have enough hospital staff, hospital beds, hospital equipment, and enough attention and care to give to everyone, which could increase mortality rate. It could increase complications. Whereas if it's a slower dispersion of the virus, then our medical facilities will better be able to handle it. And also it buys time for people to potentially come up with a vaccine or potentially come up with better treatments and research the virus better, right? So we hope that we'll be able to slow it down enough so that we can have the best protection possible for our community.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that, except so far they don't have a treatment. But
No,
amen.
now they don't. Yeah.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen is staying home.
Yeah. Peter?
Yeah, on a separate subject. So going back to coffee, one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So my workplace has gone to all work from home.
Yeah.
A among the teams that I'm working with. We actually scheduled an informal water cooler chat, had a big, like 15 people came to just catch up with each other and maintain
Cool.
informal connections. And it was a little different because, like, really only one person can talk at any one time, but it was a lot of fun and, like, actually really delightful. And we even got to, like, show each other a little bit of our houses and see, like, meet our pets and children and partners, and see, like, special things that we have in our homes. So it was actually really, really nice and kind of a special, kind of different way of being with each other. But I would, well, I guarantee you all that after the morning meditations, I'm going to be having some coffee, and I would look forward to having coffee on a video call.
Yeah, we'll be there. So, that's the plan. So tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. we'll be doing our meditation, and then everyone can go make their own tea, bring your own coffee, and we'll hang out for a bit. All right. Let's see if there's anything else.
No, I think it's wise. It's wise decision to avoid all gatherings. I think it's absolutely wise. There's no point, to risk it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an opportunity for mindfulness. We're protecting human life, and also even just being mindful about, okay, how often am I touching my face and being careless, and so it's an opportunity for mindfulness in very difficult circumstances. But I'm really encouraged that all of you showed up for this first session. I know we just sent out the invite earlier today, a few hours ago, and I think that when we're having, like, a kind of crisis like this, that's when we really need the practice the most, and that's when we need each other the most. So it's been really great hanging out with you, and see you again soon.
Same here.
Any last comments,
Yes.
questions?
Yep. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for organizing this, you and the team. I think you guys so far are doing a really amazing job. I'm really impressed by how fast it came together.
Thanks. It's great to see you.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm into that also.
All right. Well, with that, I'll let everyone go, and we can just do a quick bow out, and thank you.
Thank you for organizing this, Bonnie.
Thanks. Have a great night. See you.
You too.
5:30 in the morning. All right.
Not me. I will not be joining next Wednesday, maybe.
And if you have more feedback, and if you want the noon sessions, or you want the Monday, Thursday, we plan to kind of keep iterating and get things ironed out. So feel free to give feedback and send me an email or anything.
Yes, I'm reading.
Yeah,
I am
Bonnie.
reading all your emails, so I'll be following up your emails and then join accordingly.
Thanks, Eleanor.
Yeah.
Thank
Bonnie,
you, Bonnie.
what is your email address? Because I actually went to the website and saw this. I didn't get an email, so I wanted to be added.
No problem. I'm typing it right now. So it's bonniejc@gmail.com. And if you ever forget it, you can also email bonnie@canando.org, but I don't check that one as regularly. So this is my regular email that I'm kind of always monitoring. So BONNIEJC@gmail.com.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And I'm also the Facebook manager, so you can also post a message there on Canando, and I'll respond as well.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, Bonnie. You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.